there is a specific density that the air assumes just before a secret detonates, not the thin electric charge of an impending argument, not the brittle silence of a room after a door has been slammed. Something far older, something geological, the crushing weight of tectonic plates that have been grinding against one another for eons beneath a landscape that looks, on the surface, perfectly undisturbed. You have been walking across that landscape, Virgo. You have been planting your feet carefully, methodically, as you always do, trusting the ground beneath you because your nature demands order, because your spirit requires that the foundation be solid before you build upon it. But the ground has been lying to you. The stability you felt was not bedrock, it was a crust, a thin, calcified shell formed by the accumulation of omissions, half-truths, carefully managed silences, and a collective agreement among multiple people that you were better off not knowing. That crust is about to fracture, and what rises from the fissure is not lava. It is clarity, it is the whole truth, and it is coming for you whether you are ready or not. Someone is about to tell you everything. Let that statement find the part of you that has been waiting, not the hopeful part, not the part that still believes in tidy resolutions and gentle revelations. The other part, the part that wakes up at 3 a.m. with a name on its tongue and no idea why. The part that has been cataloging inconsistencies for months, filing them away in the drawers of your mind labeled probably nothing and I am overthinking and there has to be an explanation. The part that has watched your person, the one you have loved or trusted or built expectations around, and sensed the invisible wall behind their eyes. You knew. Some ancient instrument inside you has been registering the tremors while your conscious mind insisted the earth was still. And now the instrument is screaming because the truth is no longer content to live underground. It is surfacing, and it is bringing your person's name with it. Your person is involved in something. I need you to sit with those 5 words until they stop being abstract. Your person, involved in something. The vagueness is intentional because the specifics are not mine to spell out in a way that limits your understanding. This could be a web of deception they helped weave. This could be a secret alliance they maintained while looking you in the eye and swearing loyalty. This could be a situation they fell into, a compromise they made, a choice they justified in the dark hours of their own moral twilight that has now grown too large to contain. It could be financial. It could be relational. It could be spiritual. It could be all 3 braided together into a rope that has been tightening around the neck of your shared reality while you were busy tending to the garden of your trust. But whatever it is not distant. It is not theoretical. It is not happening in a separate room that does not affect your oxygen. It is in your water supply. It is in the air you have been breathing. And the moment someone speaks it aloud, you will understand why you have been feeling so tired, why your sleep has been shallow, why your dreams have been crowded with faces you could not quite name and symbols you could not quite decode. Your body has been processing the poison of this secret in real time, metabolizing a lie that your mind refused to acknowledge. And now the antidote is being delivered by a messenger you will not expect. This is where the reading turns a corner that I need you to navigate with your eyes wide open. The person who is about to tell you the whole truth is not your person. It is someone else. someone who has been watching from the periphery, someone who has carried a fragment of the story like a hot coal in their mouth, burning their tongue, scorching their conscience, waiting for the moment when the pain of keeping the secret finally outweighs the fear of speaking it. This messenger has been bound by loyalty, or by threat, or by the misguided belief that protecting you from the truth was a form of love. They have been complicit in your blindness, not out of malice, but out of paralysis. And something has shifted in their world. A breaking point has been reached, a final straw, a crack in the dam of their own integrity that can no longer be patched with silence. I am seeing them clearly now, Virgo. This messenger. They are not a stranger. They are someone who exists in the overlapping circles of your life and your person's life. Perhaps a friend who knew too much, perhaps a colleague who witnessed transactions or conversations that did not add up, perhaps a family member who has been carrying the weight of genetic or inherited secrets that were never meant to reach your ears. Perhaps someone your person wronged in the process of whatever they were involved in, someone who now has nothing left to lose and has decided that if they are going down, the truth is coming with them. Whoever they are no longer sleeping. They are pacing. They are rehearsing. They are drafting the message or planning the meeting or standing in front of a mirror practicing the words that will change everything for you. And they are terrified, not of your anger, not of your person's retaliation, but of the look that will cross your face when you realize how much has been hidden. They are afraid of breaking your heart, but their own heart is breaking from the weight of the silence. And in that equation, your right to know has finally become heavier than their fear of the consequences. The timing is not accidental. Nothing about this is accidental. You need to understand why this is happening now, Virgo, because understanding the timing will help you receive the truth without being destroyed by it. The universe does not deliver revelations at random. The universe waits until you are strong enough to bear them. It waits until your foundation has been reinforced by experiences you did not ask for, but that forged you into someone who can stand in the fire of truth without being reduced to ash. It waits until the secret itself has reached a point of critical mass, where the damage of keeping it exceeds the damage of speaking it. And it waits until the person who needs to speak has been stripped of every other option. That is where your messenger is right now. They have tried to hint, they have tried to signal, they have tried to live with the burden, and they have failed. The truth is demanding birth, and they are the only midwife available. Your person, meanwhile, is in a state of suspended terror. They do not know the exact hour of the revelation, but they can feel the temperature dropping. They have sensed the messenger pulling away. They have noticed the glances that last a fraction too long. They have heard the subtle changes in tone, the pauses that used to be comfortable and are now loaded with unspoken knowledge. Your person knows that the fortress is under siege, and their response to this pressure is going to tell you everything you need to know about who they really are. Some people, when cornered by the approaching light, become desperate. They accelerate the lies. They manufacture new narratives. They try to reach you before the messenger does, to poison the well of your perception with their version of events, to frame the truth as betrayal, to paint the speaker as jealous, unstable, or malicious. If your person does this, if they suddenly become more attentive, more communicative, more present than they have been in weeks. If they volunteer information that feels oddly specific or preemptively defensive, know that you are hearing the sound of a cover-up in its final stages. Do not let the familiarity of their voice soothe you into accepting their preemptive strike. But there is another possibility, Virgo, one that is rarer and more devastating. Your person might be relieved. They might have been waiting for someone else to do what they could not do themselves. They might be exhausted from the performance of concealment. They might welcome the collapse of their own architecture because maintaining it has cost them more than they ever anticipated. If this is the case, you will see it in their shoulders. In the way they stop making eye contact, not out of guilt, but out of shame so profound it has become physical. In the way they stop fighting. In the way they become quiet in a way that is different from their previous secrecy. A quiet of surrender rather than a quiet of calculation. And if you see this, Virgo, you will face the hardest version of the truth. Not the truth of a monster, but the truth of a human who got lost inside something they did not know how to escape and who lacked the courage to tell you themselves. Either way, the truth is the same. The truth does not change based on the remorse of the liar. The truth is a fixed star, and everything else has been orbiting around it in deliberate avoidance. I want to prepare you for the texture of what you are about to hear, because preparation is your strength, and I intend to arm you with it. This is not going to be a single sentence. This is not going to be one discrete piece of information that you can process and file away. The whole truth, by definition, is whole. It is a tapestry. It is a network. It is a story with a beginning that predates your awareness, a middle that unfolded while you were living your life in parallel ignorance, and a present moment that demands you recalibrate everything. You are going to learn about conversations that happened without you, decisions that were made that affected your future, resources that were moved, allocated, hidden, or spent, relationships that were maintained in the shadows, promises that were broken in rooms you did not know existed. And the cumulative weight of all these revelations is going to hit you like a physical blow. Your knees may literally weaken. Your vision may narrow. The room may spin. This is not weakness, Virgo. This is the body adjusting to a new gravitational field. You have been living in a reality with one set of physics, and the truth is about to rewrite the laws. Do not try to stand too quickly. Do not try to fix anything in the first hour. Do not try to be the bigger person, the understanding partner, the rational analyst. Let yourself be shattered. The truth deserves your full emotional response. It deserves your rage. It deserves your grief. It deserves the tears you have been storing because some part of you knew you were being lied to and you would not let yourself cry over a suspicion. Cry now. Scream now. Break plates if you need to. The truth is a cleansing fire, and fire does not ask permission to burn what is rotten. But after the fire, Virgo, comes the assessment. And this is where your Virgo nature becomes your greatest ally. Once the initial shock has passed, once your hands stop shaking and your breath returns to a rhythm you recognize, your mind will begin to sort. This is what you do. You categorize. You analyze. You discern the essential from the incidental, and you are going to need every ounce of that precision because the messenger, however well-intentioned, will deliver the truth with their own fingerprints on it. They will emphasize certain details and minimize others based on their own biases, their own wounds, their own relationship to the story. They may be angry on your behalf. and their anger will color the delivery. They may be afraid of your reaction, and their fear will cause them to soften edges that should remain sharp. They may be seeking absolution for their own complicity, and their need for forgiveness will distort the narrative in ways that serve their conscience more than your clarity. You must listen to the messenger without adopting their interpretation. Extract the facts like a surgeon extracting shrapnel. Set the facts on a clean table. Walk around them. Examine them from every angle. Ask the questions that the messenger may not have thought to ask. Ask why your person made the choices they made. Ask when the deception began. Ask who else knows. Ask what has been the true cost, not just to you, but to everyone involved. And most importantly, ask what happens now, because the truth is not a destination, it is a doorway. And once you walk through it, you cannot return to the room you were standing in before. Your person is involved in something, Virgo, and the nature of their involvement is going to challenge every assumption you have made about their character. If you have idealized them, the truth will feel like murder. If you have demonized them, the truth may be more complex than your anger wants it to be. Most likely, you will find that they are neither hero nor villain, but a flawed human who made a series of choices that compounded into a structure of deception so elaborate that they themselves may have forgotten where the truth ended and the lie began. This does not excuse them, but it may help you understand the landscape you are now required to navigate. I am seeing the specific moment of revelation with cinematic precision. It is going to happen in a space that feels ordinary until it is not. A kitchen, a car, a park bench. A text thread that begins with an innocuous greeting and then detonates. The messenger will start with hesitation. They will test the waters. They will ask if you have time to talk, if you are sitting down, if you are alone. These are not rhetorical courtesies. They are warnings. They know the weight of what they carry. And when they finally speak, the words will come out in a rush at first, then slow down, then settle into a terrible clarity. You will hear things that make your stomach clench. You will hear names you did not expect. You will hear dates that recontextualize memories you thought you understood. You will hear descriptions of events that occurred while you were sleeping, while you were working, while you were trusting, while you were loving. And with each new piece of information, a ghost will appear in the room. The ghost of the life you thought you were living. The ghost of the person you thought you knew. The ghost of your own innocence in this particular theater of deception. And Virgo, here is what you must remember while you are sitting in that room with the ghosts. You did not fail. Your intuition did not fail. Your love did not fail. The failure belongs to the people who chose silence over honesty, who chose convenience over integrity, who chose to protect themselves from your reaction rather than protect you from their actions. You were not foolish to trust. You were not naive to believe. You were not weak to love. They were wrong to exploit those qualities. And the truth, however brutal its delivery, is ultimately your liberation from a prison built out of their cowardice. But liberation is not always comfortable. The air outside the prison is colder than you expected. The light is harsher. The space is vaster and requires you to rebuild your sense of direction from scratch. After the messenger leaves, after your person either confesses or continues to crumble, after the initial storm of emotion has passed through your body like a weather system, you will be left with a question that no one else can answer for you. What do you do with the truth now that you have it? This is where I need to speak to you with the full force of your own wisdom, Virgo, because you are going to be tempted to manage the fallout, to fix the broken pieces, to find a way to integrate the truth into the existing structure of your life so that you do not have to lose everything at once. You are going to want to negotiate with reality to say, if I understand why they did it, maybe I can accept it. If they are sorry enough, maybe we can rebuild. If I adjust my expectations, maybe the truth is not a deal breaker. And I am here to tell you that negotiation is a trap. The truth is not a renovation project, it is a demolition notice. Some structures cannot be repaired once the foundation is revealed to be fraudulent. Some relationships cannot survive the removal of the lie that was load bearing. And your work is not to save what was built on deception. Your work is to build what comes after. Your person is involved in something, and that involvement has created a debt. Not a financial debt, though there may be one of those, a karmic debt, an energetic debt, a debt of trust that they cannot repay with words, no matter how eloquent or tearful. They can only repay it with time, with transparency, with the kind of radical honesty that continues long after the initial confession. And even then, repayment does not guarantee restoration. You are not obligated to offer them the chance to repay. You are not obligated to become the architect of their redemption. Your only obligation is to your own alignment, to your own truth, to the version of your life where your bedrock is solid because it is made of facts rather than fantasies. I am seeing the aftermath with a clarity that I need to share because forewarned is forearmed. There will be a period of disorientation. You will question your memory. You will replay conversations, searching for the moment when the lie entered the room. You will wonder if you should have known sooner, if the signs were obvious, if you are somehow complicit in your own deception because you chose to see the best in someone. This is normal. This is the psychic whiplash of truth. But do not let it become self-attack. The deception was not your invention. The silence was not your choice. You were operating with the information you had, and you operated with integrity. That integrity is still intact. It is still yours. No one can take it from you, not even the person who betrayed it. There will also be a period of anger, not the hot, explosive anger of the first moment, but the cold, steady anger of the aftermath. This anger is healthy. It is the immune response of your soul. It is your system identifying the toxin and refusing to let it re-enter. Do not rush to forgive. Do not let anyone, especially the person who deceived you, rush you toward forgiveness because your anger makes them uncomfortable. Your anger is information. It is telling you where your boundaries were violated. It is telling you what you will no longer tolerate. It is telling you who you are becoming. Listen to it. Let it burn clean. Let it purge the residue of their deception from your system. And when it has done its work, when there is nothing left to burn, you will find that the anger has left behind something unexpected. Not peace exactly, but clarity. A diamond hard clarity about what you require from your life, your relationships, and yourself. Your person is going to try to explain, Virgo. When the truth is out, when the messenger has done their devastating work, your person will face you and they will have a story. It will be a story about pressure, about fear, about circumstances beyond their control, about intentions that were never meant to hurt you, about protection that was misguided, about love that was so overwhelming it became paralyzing. They will offer you this story like a blanket, hoping you will wrap yourself in it and stop shivering. And some part of you will want to take it because the story is familiar, because it has the cadence of the person you loved, because accepting the story would mean you could stop being in free fall and land somewhere soft. Do not take the blanket, Virgo. Not yet. Not until you have held the story up to the light and inspected every thread. Not until you have asked yourself whether the story explains the deception or merely excuses it. Not until you have determined whether the story is a bridge back to honesty or a trapdoor into more manipulation. Your person has proven that they are capable of constructing narratives that serve their interests. The story they tell you now is just another narrative. It may contain truth. It likely contains some truth. But it is not the whole truth. The whole truth was delivered by the messenger. Everything your person offers you now is an edit, an adaptation, a screenplay revised after the audience has already read the original novel. Trust the original. Trust the messenger's version, however imperfect, because it was spoken without the protective filter of self-interest that your person cannot help but apply. And here is the unprecedented element of this reading, the configuration I have never seen before in exactly this form. The truth that is coming is going to expose not just your person's involvement, but a larger pattern, a network of deception that extends beyond your immediate relationship. You are going to discover that your person was not operating in isolation, that there were enablers, collaborators, people who knew and said nothing, people who benefited from your ignorance, people who watched you struggle with questions they could have answered and chose their own comfort over your clarity. This is going to be the most disorienting part, Virgo, because it means that the lie was not a private failing, but a public conspiracy. It means that your reality was being shaped by committee, and the committee voted unanimously to keep you in the dark. When this larger pattern reveals itself, you are going to feel a specific kind of loneliness. The loneliness of realizing that you were surrounded by people who were all in on a joke you were not told. The loneliness of understanding that your trust was not betrayed by one person, but by a system. And in that loneliness, you must be very careful not to isolate yourself from the people who genuinely did not know. Not everyone was complicit. Some people were as deceived as you were. Some people will be as shocked as you are. Some people will become your allies in the aftermath, not because they were part of the truth-telling, but because their integrity, once tested, holds firm. You will need to distinguish between the collaborators and the innocent bystanders, between those who actively concealed and those who were simply not informed. This discernment will be crucial because your instinct will be to withdraw from everyone, to assume that the entire world is perfidious and that isolation will not protect you. It will only delay your healing. The messenger, Virgo, is not a savior. Do not make that mistake. They are a vessel. They are delivering truth because the truth demanded delivery, not because they are inherently noble or heroic. They may have their own agenda. They may be seeking to damage your person or to damage your relationship or to position themselves as the one who finally told you while everyone else lied. They may want your gratitude, your loyalty, or your alliance against the common enemy of your person. Do not give them any of these things automatically. Receive the truth with thanks, but do not mortgage your future to the messenger. The truth belongs to you now. It is your property. And you get to decide what to build with it, what to burn with it, and who gets to stand near the fire. Your person is involved in something. And the full scope of that involvement is going to challenge you to become someone you have never been before, someone who can hold complexity without being consumed by it, someone who can grieve a relationship while still demanding accountability, someone who can acknowledge the humanity of the deceiver while refusing to become collateral damage in their human failing, someone who can say, I understand why you did it, and I still cannot live with it. That sentence is the summit of emotional maturity, Virgo, and you are being called to climb it. I am seeing your future after the truth arrives, not the immediate future of chaos and confrontation, but the future that exists 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. You are standing in a life that is unrecognizably cleaner. The people who were complicit have fallen away, not because you banished them, but because their energy no longer matches yours. The spaces they occupied have been filled by silence at first, and then by authenticity. Your relationships are fewer but deeper. Your trust is harder to earn, but more valuable when given. Your intuition, which was always accurate, is now a sword you wield with confidence rather than a whisper you doubt in the dark. You are lighter, not because the truth did not wound you, but because the wound was clean, because the infection of deception has been lanced, because you are healing from a truth rather than dying from a lie. And your person, they are in the distance, not necessarily gone forever, but at a distance that reflects the magnitude of what they destroyed. If they are capable of genuine transformation, they will begin the long, solitary work of rebuilding their own integrity from the ground up. They will do this not to win you back, but because the collapse of their deception has revealed the hollowness of their own foundation. And if they are not capable of transformation, they will move on to the next person, the next situation, the next web of half-truths, carrying their pattern with them like a virus. Either way, it is not your concern. Your concern is the soil of your own garden. And that soil has been turned. The old plants have been uprooted. The sun is hitting ground that has not seen light in years. And what you choose to plant now, in the full knowledge of what has been revealed, will determine the harvest of the rest of your life. Be ready, Virgo, not with armor. Armor is for people who expect to be attacked. Be ready with presence, with breath, with the willingness to be shattered and reassembled in the same day. The truth is not your enemy. The truth is the friend who arrives with harsh news because the alternative is death by ignorance. Open the door when the messenger knocks. Listen without interrupting. Let the words land. Let the earthquake happen. And when the ground stops shaking, stand up and look at the new landscape. It is yours. It has always been yours. You were just living in a version of it that was drawn by someone else's hand. The whole truth is coming. Your person is involved, and you are about to discover exactly how much strength you have been carrying underneath the quiet surface of your patient, trusting, magnificent heart. Let it rise. Let it speak. Let it claim the reality that honesty builds. The warning has been issued. The rest is your sovereign choice. Go now. The doorbell is already ringing.